Hi, Little Chef. Welcome to day 4 aboard the Catalyst. First thing in the morning, I looked outside my porthole and I saw the little skiff going out probably like 30 yards, and they were setting crab pots. So they were hoping for some crab to be caught there. They rigged the thing with some roasted turkey and fish, and we were gonna get underway, but we'd come back and make a stop here to check on it in the evening time. So fingers crossed for some crab. So I got out of my cabin, went upstairs to the salon, got a cup of hot coffee, made some oatmeal, came out to the deck and enjoyed the beautiful views. I looked off the side of the boat and there was this like salmon just swimming like on the top of the water, and I was like, that doesn't look normal to me. So I asked and they said that it's kind of like an end of life thing, so it wasn't normal. While I was out just looking around, I saw some more eagles and whales, and then I got more coffee. I've been definitely caffeinated on this trip. I feel like anytime I want a warm liquid, I always go for black tea or coffee. So I've been having like a lot of caffeine, but it's been keeping me up to look at these beautiful views and go on incredible hikes. So for breakfast, Chef Seth was doing like a big, beautiful breakfast fish spread. So they smoke things on board. So they smoked the sablefish, which is also called black cod. We had that last night for dinner, or 2 nights ago for dinner. It was incredible, but we had it fresh then, and then he smoked it for breakfast today. And then they also had a white king salmon that they smoked as well. So it was kind of like a bagel and lox kind of situation. So they had toasted bagels, the smoked fish, sieved eggs, kind of like hot caviar service. What is that over there? Looks like a little critter. Sliced red onions, English cucumber, Campari tomatoes, salmon roe, and some whipped cream cheese. And I made a beautiful little open face sandwich out of that. It was so good. After breakfast, we pulled up anchor and made our way over to Pack Creek. While we were underway, Bryce gave us a little bear talk because we were going to be encountering bears pretty up close because they're what they call habituated. So there was a man that lived on this island before and lived amongst the bears. So the bears are kind of used to humans at this point. So it's regulated. There's like people that are there, rangers that are there, and making sure that these humans follow specific routine because they want to make sure that the bears aren't stressed out. So if the humans follow the same routine, the bears kind of know what to expect. And if anything goes outside of that routine, the bears get stressed out. So there's a certain trail that you have to take, and then you have to stay in this certain area and just observe the bears. And they're out there playing in the meadow or fishing in the creek. So we went there the first time. And so we got out of the boat, we took the skiff to the beach, and there was a man that greeted us, gave us another bear talk, made sure that we knew the rules going in there. I felt very safe, which was weird for me because I have a fear of bears. So I think it's just the structure of everything made me feel a lot safer, and to know these bears were habituated.
Where we're standing right now is the South Spit. If we zoom out a bit, this is Admiralty Island, 90% of which is the Kutsnul Wilderness. Kutsnul means Fortress of the Brown Bear in Tlingit. Quite literally, it means place where bears are safe. And at about 1,600 square miles of island, we think we've got about that many bears.
Wow.
Now, obviously, not every bear gets its own square mile to exist in. Bears are wherever they want to be, whenever they want to be there. And so for that reason, we'll have some pretty specific rules for you today on where you'll travel and when you'll travel. If you are ever to encounter or cross paths with a bear, just stop, let the bear make a decision, and pass by. The bears here are habituated, but not food conditioned. That means that they've lost their flight or fight response when they encounter people. They do their bear things, and we don't get in their way. But we always leave it up to them to make the decision on which way they want to go when they encounter us. That being said, when we're walking from place to place, we are not stopping unless you are actively crossing paths with a bear. The bears expect us to move from viewing area to viewing area, and they expect us to only do that. It might be tempting to take pictures or look from the path along the viewing area, but I promise you the viewing from the designated viewing area is always better. Walking out to the viewing spit will ask that you walk on this mud line with the rocks right to your left, or when you're coming back, the rocks are on your right. It's easier to walk on the mud, and that gives bears in the forest plenty of space to move, and bears on the flats plenty of space to move. If for some reason the tide is higher than that, and you can no longer see the mud line, just walk along the water's edge. And our third viewing area is the Tower Trail. It's up in the corner of the cove here. You can just barely see the post that marks the start of the trail. But if you are going to head out that way, we'll ask that you stay to the left of this kind of line of larger boulders that heads up that way. If once again the tide is up and the boulders are covered, just walk along the water's edge.
We arrived at Pack Creek. We took our little hike over to the creek.
But, mating season or when both species of salmon are in, you'll have non-habituated bears and, non-familiar males entering the system. And that's when you really get your number increase. This time of year, everything's starting to slow down. So I think our averages are usually 5-ish bears per visit. Of course, the rangers that are out here all day are seeing more than that, but there was some collaring done in the early 2000s. But that was because Swan Cove to the north and Woodfall Harbor to the south were closed to hunting. So hunters appealed that decision, and then researchers needed to show that habituated bears were using those drainages and that it would ruin the sport ethic. So we try and do no research, no hands-on stuff with the bears here because it is a sanctuary. But there's brown bear research done in Southeast Alaska. The department just finished up a 5-year project in Haines, and now they've just started one in Sitka. We got 2 bears in the meadow right now. I believe it's a 2-year-old male subadult on the left, and then I think it's a 15-year-old sow on the right. That's his mom, but she kicked him out earlier this spring, so he's trying to get closer, she's trying to get further. It's kind of a play of personal space. And then way up the creek, we've got another bear. Just went around the corner right now, so it just popped out of sight, but you can kind of see its butt in and out up in that corner.
And we saw 2 bears out there. One was a mom, the other was a cub. It was 2.5 years old, and the mom was trying to distance herself from the cub, but the cub still wanted to be around mom. So we saw some interesting behavior where the cub would try to get close to mom. The mom would kind of scare the cub away. So there was just a territorial thing going on with that cub and mom. And it was cool because the rangers knew these bears. I can identify the bears that come in, know which ones are habituated and which ones are in the wild. They said that the area is 1,600 square miles, and there's estimated to be around 1,600 bears in that area. So super heavily populated with bears. So that means 1 bear per square mile, which is a little scary because we went out to hike after we kind of viewed the bears in the meadow and around the creek. Went for a hike. 2-mile hike. So I'm thinking if my calculations are correct, 2 miles equals 2 bears. However, we did not see any bears on that little hike. We came back from the hike and we went down to the creek again, and we lucked out. There was probably a 3-year-old cub down by the creek fishing for salmon, and he caught 2 salmon when we were there, and it's pretty incredible to see them just completely skin it with their teeth. We got some close-up footage of that, which they look all cute and cuddly, and I kind of want to still cuddle them and give them a hug, but I know how powerful they are. Bryce was saying that there's a hump on the back of their back, And that hump right by their neck is just pure muscle to kind of like push on things and push down trees, or, you know, pound down on something. So on this hike, plants were pointed out, mushrooms were pointed out, berries. We saw bear tracks, so we knew they were around, and we also saw these plants that were kind of like bent over, and we knew that the bears would probably be taking naps there or using it as a way to get down to the creek. So we found watermelon berries. We found something called trailing raspberries, which were my favorite berry we've had so far, and we've had many berries. The trailing raspberries were very sweet. We stayed a lot longer than we were supposed to stay at Pat Creek, but we had such an amazing experience watching this cub down by the creek. We just had to stay longer. So we ended up getting back to the boat around 3 p.m. So we were a little late for lunch, but it was well worth it. So for lunch, we had crustless quiche, and inside was some sauteed kale, garlic, onion, Gouda, goat cheese, little crispy phyllo flakes, and paired with a mixed green salad with goose tongue vinaigrette and microgreens. So again, the chef used that goose tongue that we foraged from Ford's Terror, and he made a salsa with it, and he also made a vinaigrette with it. It makes you feel more connected with your food and like know where it's coming from and kind of the effort that was put behind it. It's a cool feeling. I love foraging and then using it in the dishes. Since we had lunch at 3, cocktail hour was at 5, so it was not soon after lunch. We had some barbecue chips. I had a little apricot German beer. Then I went up to the wheelhouse because I didn't get to explore it yet. So I went up to the bridge, checked out everything. Hopefully I can get an interview with Captain and see kind of all of the equipment and instruments that help with navigation. While we were underway, we saw some whales. There's whales everywhere. I mean, you look out and you can see the little spout, like blowholes everywhere you look, probably 30 of them just out in the distance. They're everywhere here. While we were underway, we stopped at Pleasant Bay where we set our crab pots. We're pulling up the crab traps, and you know, it's like a little waiting game, and the anticipation is killing you. And we pull it up, and there's like 8 crabs in there. And you can only keep the males. So we got lucky because there was only 1 female. So we lucked out. We got like 8 crabs, massive things. These were Dungeness crabs. And you can't get any fresher. So we took them literally right out of the ocean. And we brought them on board. Kevin humanely killed the crab. You go through the brain of the crab, so it kills them instantly.
What is it?
Oh, so the way you tell a male from a female is the males will have this more triangular shaped tail.
Okay.
The females will have more of like a spade, like rounder shaped tail.
Okay.
If you look on the underside, and sometimes you get lucky and during the right time of year, and they'll have like really pretty eggs. Like that's where they hold the eggs.
Oh.
Yeah. The most humane way to do this is by like braining them first, right? Before you do the nastier biz. I usually put a knife through the top of the carapace, but I think we're gonna try and save these for a serving vessel. So we're gonna go through the bottom like this. You just
Don't think about it.
Yeah.
Several bosh.
Yeah. Right.
I could do that.
Oh, that was kind of sad.
Okay. Then he's dead. It kills them instantly. It's the only. Yeah. And then look on the back. There's like a little soft spot right here, right? Right there.
Yeah.
Just get a finger in there.
You're like I'm in the Iron Chef right here.
Kevin, they're calling you. Yeah?
I can do it. That's like I
don't want to do it. Nice. There you go. So just move off like that.
Oh.
We're gonna throw the guts on the inside out and then save the rest. And then I should have got a little bowl.
Another bowl. Do you want to go get a little bowl?
Oh, it's okay. Anyways, and once it's right there, it just snaps in half really easy. And then you wash that out, and the rest cooks. That's it.
A little hard for me to watch, but I know that we it feels like we were connected to the food, and it's cool that we were kind of using every part of the animal. So cleaned the crab, literally took it right into the galley. Steph cooked it up, and we had it for an appetizer. So we had our white wine pairing, and we had the appetizer as butter poached Dungeness crab claws with a cocktail sauce and grilled romaine. And you literally cannot get any fresher than that. So I just love how we're living off the land and really incorporating what we forage and what we catch into all the food we've been eating. Next course was paired with a red wine. For the main dish, we had sockeye salmon with a basil béarnaise and split yellow peas. Alaska is known for their salmon, and I now know why. For the third course, the final course, we had a white chocolate and pomegranate sorbet. So the white chocolate kind of cascaded on top and kind of hardened with the frozen sorbet. So there was like a little crunch to it. It was just the perfect way to end a meal. Everyone was tired that day, so went to bed around 10 o'clock and had another beautiful day aboard the Pacific Catalyst.